Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys smash the like button, also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. Now, a fight I'm looking forward to, June 17th, Ward Kovalev 2 takes place at Las Vegas Mandalay Bay, and it's Judgment Day. I went to the press stop in Oakland. Had a good time. The footage is up on the channel. They concluded in Los Angeles, the final stop for the press tour before both guys go to their respective camps. And the Los Angeles stop, some good quotables and things like that. While Andre Ward was in LA, he did stop by the ESPN studios and he did an interview. And in the interview, they have him picking his top 5 pound for pound list. And it was interesting. Very interesting. Me personally, and I'll get to what he said, I don't do pound for pound list because it's all subjective, and I'll kind of explain that more in this video. And I don't know if he does either, but he was on the spot, Johnny on the spot at the ESPN studio. They had a list of names, including guys like Kovalev, Golovkin, Terence Crawford, Rigondeaux, Canelo himself, and others. And this is his list. Number 1, he has Guillermo El Chical Rigondeaux. Number 2, Terence Bud Crawford. Number 3, Saul Canelo Alvarez. Number 4, Vasiliy High-Tech Matrix Lomachenko. Number 5, Keith Thurman. Right? So on the list, out of the possible options that ESPN gave, he left himself out. He left Sergey Kovalev out. He left Gennady Golovkin out, and probably a few more people. So I want to talk about his list. He credits Rigondeaux, says, I like to share credit and shed light on guys who don't always get the credit. And Rigondeaux is phenomenal and exceptional at what he does, so he gave him the number 1 spot. And the funny thing is, I tell you guys all the time, 2017 is not going to be a good year for y'all. I already seen it, and I said this in January, and I've been saying it, and I'm going to keep saying, tell the truth, tell the truth, but keep saying it. Skill recognizes skill. It's no mystery to me that you got the most skilled fighters and they all say favorable things. It's not what you read in the comment section, but a skilled, undefeated light heavyweight champion, who I believe is going in as the favorite over Kovalev. I don't know. We'll see closer to the fight if that changes. But nonetheless, he's an accomplished, skilled fighter like Ward, and he's putting Rigondeaux in the number 1, numero uno spot. He's putting Terence Crawford in the number 2 spot. Terence Crawford, I did a video about this. See, I'm in tune with this new media. Terence Crawford puts Andre Ward in the number 1 spot, and he said he's number 2. So it's funny, on Andre Ward and Terence Crawford list, they both have Terence Crawford, or Terence Crawford has himself in at number 2. So again, skill recognizes skill. How come it's never what I read in the comment section when it comes to other professionals, trained fighters, trainers, boxing analysis or analysts like Teddy Atlas or whatnot? You know what I mean? And I think if you really strip it down, I think Ward has a solid list. You can argue the order, things in that, but one of the reasons I don't personally do pound for pound list is because it's all subjective, and people, their criteria, there's no real criteria. There's no like end all be all way of judging a pound for pound list. For example, Keith Thurman. Lately, boxing is a sport of what have you done for me lately. So lately, beating Sean Porter and then beating Danny Garcia to get a 2nd belt at welterweight is frankly better than what Pacquiao has done in recent memory, right? Pacquiao's getting ready to fight, my name is Jeff Horn. He lost to Floyd Mayweather, the biggest fight of his life. He lost. He got knocked out by Marquez a couple years back. He fought Chris Algieri, who barely beat Ruslan. He fought Brandon Rios, moving up, coming off of a loss. He fought Jesse Vargas, a guy who he lost to Tim Bradley, clearly lost 11 rounds out of 12, and was a champion through a vacancy. He beat Saddam Ali and fought Pacquiao. So he wasn't really an accomplished. He beat Saddam Ali, who didn't really have, he wasn't at the level, he was an Olympian, but he didn't have the name and the pro level experience. So that was a good win for Jesse, but I mean, I call it what it was. He's not as accomplished as even Alberto at that weight. He's a good fighter, but I'm talking about accomplishments. So again, It's all subjective. Would you rate Pacquiao? Because Pacquiao clearly has a better resume than Keith Thurman in terms of its entirety, because he's been fighting longer and he fought in his career better names. And Keith Thurman for a while was fighting, you know what I mean, Julio Diaz's and stuff like that. So it's all subjective. Would you put Pacquiao above him based on totality of his career? And he's had a longer career with better names, but recently Keith Thurman has been doing more. So it's like, kind of, what are you gauging, right? And the people he put on all have skills. He says for Rigondeaux doesn't get the credit he deserves, which is exactly what I've been telling you. And you guys can say, well, oh, it's a Rock Nation thing. He's not paid to say that. He doesn't have to endorse Rigondeaux just because they're on the same label, right? So him putting him at number one, why didn't he put Terence Crawford? You know what I mean? It's because that's probably what he feels. He feels this dude is not getting enough credit. And the other thing is, I told you guys, Rigondeaux is a type of talent where he's basically done what Lomachenko has done in few fights, captured a title and beat a guy who wasn't supposed to be beaten. But Rigondeaux, he's special too. He's a two-time Olympic gold medalist, just like Vasiliy Lomachenko. But you notice the way HBO and Top Rank pushed each fighter is totally different. Lomachenko, they're like, oh yeah, he's the Matrix, he's better than Floyd, he's unstoppable, and he's the pound for pound best, he could beat anybody. But he has a loss. Rigondeaux is undefeated. So it's crazy to me. Like, I mean, you guys can say whatever you want. You can say Rigondeaux is a suspect chin. I really don't see him losing to Orlando Salido, even if he would have fought him early like Lomachenko. I don't. I really don't. Now, I do think Lomachenko has improved since the Salido loss, but he still hasn't rematched him. You know what I mean? And I'm an advocate for that. Why didn't they put an immediate rematch like Ward Kovalev? Because they probably didn't want it right away. You know what I mean? They wanted him to get his confidence, and you know, they know if you were being praised as a decorated amateur and then you take 2 back-to-back L's, people are it's not gonna be good. I mean, look at guys like Broner, who didn't even take back-to-back L's, but some people say Broner should retire after Sean Porter, because he lost to Maidana and then lost to Sean Porter. So boxing is unforgiving. Bottom line, Rigondeaux has been blackballed, and he's a talented fighter for whatever reason. You could say Lomachenko is more offensive and more exciting, or he's this and that, but they're both talented, and boxing is a melting pot of different styles. You can't just embrace one style and expect to consider yourself a fair critic. You know what I mean? It's not about one style. That's like any kind of tournament. You don't know who you're going to be facing. Watch the movie Bloodsport. Wah! You know what I'm saying? He had people from all over the world: Japan, England, America, France, Brazil. You know what I'm saying? So that you fought different styles. That's the whole sport of it. So I don't want to hear, oh, it's because Lomachenko, he's offensive, right? Because at the end of the day, people feel Rigondeaux's power. That's why they don't want to be offensive. You know what I'm saying? He's clearly stripping something away from them. Now, Rigondeaux and Lomachenko, I'm not trying to pit them against each other because they're both talented fighters, but I definitely understand where Ward is coming from with Rigondeaux. He is a top talent and he's a skilled fighter. And I feel like Ward in the sense of I'm a big fan of the underdog story. You know what I mean? Just a good underdog story. And Rigondeaux doesn't get the credit he's deserved. Same thing with his number 2, Terence Crawford. I watched the dude in his fights perform 3 times, I think, in the last few years, and they're all phenomenal performances. He shows you time and time again that he's willing to fight everyone. I've been saying this. It's funny to me. Like I said, tell the truth. You guys can say all this crazy stuff. Oh, you're just like black fighters or whatever you want. But other people are saying the same thing. Other people are noticing it. And I mean, even if I do like black fighters, there's a lot of dominant black fighters. So why would that be a problem? You know what I mean? If Chavez Jr. likes a ton of Mexican fighters, would that be a problem? You know what I'm saying? If he's like, oh, Barrera is my all-time favorite, my dad and Marquette, you know what I'm saying? That wouldn't be a problem, would it? But for Terence Crawford's sake, he's down to fight anyone. He's about to fight a second gold medalist. You know what I mean? So I understand why he's placed higher than Vasiliy Lomachenko. He has a larger body of work, more fights. He's fighting different styles. He's unbeaten with no losses, and he's just a phenomenal talent. Like you got to look at it. Crawford is fighting Felix Diaz. So if he mows him down and looks like he's been looking, then he will have fought Yuriorkis Gamboa, a Cuban gold medalist with power who was winning, and he had to come from behind to turn things around, switch southpaw, make adjustments. And if he beats Felix Diaz, that's the second gold medalist. When is the last time Lomachenko, Gennady Golovkin even fought a gold medalist? One. You know what I'm saying? And especially one with power and one who's looked good in recent fights and stuff like that. So you can't take nothing away from Bud. He's a great talent in the sport, and that's just what it is. People could get mad. Now, this is number 3. He has Canelo, and this is his list for the record. I'm not even co-signing his list. You know what I mean? I don't even have a pound for pound list like that because I haven't taken the time. But I mean, the people he selected, I'm just kind of going over his list, and they all make sense. Canelo. See, this is what's wrong with boxing. Canelo is a very skilled fighter, and Ward mentioned Canelo gets a lot of flack and things like that. Boxing fans, a lot of them are too emotional, and for that reason, they don't think clearly. Like, the same thing goes for Danny Garcia. People sleep on Danny Garcia, and they hold over his head Rod Salka. I was the first to tell you and make memes and all kinds of stuff on Instagram. That wasn't a good fight, right? But beyond that, what has he done? Danny Garcia has been in there with Zab Judah, Lucas Matisse, Eric Morales twice. He's been in there with Lucas Matisse, I think I just said him, Keith Thurman, Robert Guerrero, you know what I mean? Nate Campbell, Kendall Holt, Ashley Theophane. So people get too caught up on that, on one fight, or okay, I thought Herrera beat him. You see how easy this is for me? I thought Herrera beat him. Peterson fight was close. I didn't like how Peterson started off so slow and then turned it up. I thought he looked good in the second half, but I think he should have made the switch a little bit sooner, and he would have clearly won. But Herrera definitely beat him to me. But that doesn't take away from his resume. That doesn't take away that he's a good fighter. And I think people do the same thing with Canelo. Yes, Canelo vacating his belt versus Gennady Golovkin made him the laughing stock. It didn't do him any favors. I criticized it. Fans criticized it. It made no sense. But you still can't take away from what he actually has done. You know what I mean? And in the grand scheme of things, to me, Canelo, even win, lose, or draw, stepping in with Floyd Mayweather is more than what Lomachenko has done, more than what Gennady Golovkin has done, because he fought the best. Now, he lost, but he, at age 23, fought the best. You know what I mean? So you got to give him credit for that. Then other fights, Edeslandi Lara, people get hung up. I had Lara winning. It was a tight fight. Lara didn't do himself any favors in the later rounds. Canelo came on, vicious body shots. I had Lara winning one or two rounds, but he still fought him, and it was still a competitive fight, right? I don't agree with the 117-111 scorecard, but I mean, he's still fighting these guys. So I could even understand the argument putting Canelo before Lomachenko, because the fact is, with Lomachenko, great fighter, great talent, great future, but he has less than 10 fights, and in those less than 10 fights, he has a loss that he has not avenged. So it's hard to say he looks the goods. He looks, I've been telling people that, he looks as advertised. But until he does the rematch, at least that's one step in the right direction, and gets more fights and continue. It's not about if you could do good, it's how long can you do good. You know what I'm saying? There's been a ton of people in fighting combat sports who have looked the business, that look like, damn, you know what I mean? At one point, you guys might laugh, but Jermaine Taylor was they were like, damn, I mean, who beats Bernard Hopkins twice and decisively? And Taylor did that, you know what I mean? But he started fighting the Carl Froches and Pavliks and stuff, and it didn't really go his way, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of people I've seen come in the game, come and go, and they get built up and then it doesn't last. But Canelo, he definitely has a good resume. Lomachenko, he's on the right track to greatness. You know, he already had a great amateur career, but the thing is, how can you say I put Andre Ward was being modest? I would have put him on the pound for pound list, but he has every right to not want to put himself on and give other people shine. That's cool, but you can't tell me, from my perspective, you can't tell me that Lomachenko in 10 fights has shown you more than an Andre Ward. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even put him, the Lomachenko, I'd probably put Kovalev above Lomachenko as well if I were doing a pound for pound list, just because I've seen more of those guys tested, more fights, and I've seen them do good for longer. You know what I mean? And I have to consider that. But Lomachenko's a top talent. He definitely has the skills to be on anybody's pound for pound list. And then last, he put Keith Thurman. Boxing, again, is a what have you done for me lately. He's tested himself, beat Sean Porter, and then he beat Danny Garcia. And he's the only welterweight with 2 welterweight straps. And again, you got to look at it. Manny Pacquiao, he's great resume career-wise, but he's fighting Jeff Horn. Keith Thurman is his time, and he's trying to fight the best. So that's Andre Ward's list. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What people would you take off? What people would you add? Would you put Kovalev on the list? Ward said in the interview, he's like, I'm not putting him on here to Kovalev. And obviously he has a fight coming up with him, so that would be stupid to put, oh yeah, Kovalev's number 3. Like, he's not going to give him that type of compliment. Golovkin, would you add him to the list? I just can't see it, especially since your biggest step up, some people thought you lost the fight. You know what I mean? So I can't see it. Let me know what you guys think of Andre Ward's pound for pound list. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego, son. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.